Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Welcome
Walaikum
to
salam wa
the
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Minarin Talent Academy web design. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Minarin Talent Academy web design class. The lead mentor is going to join very soon, and the facilitator too. So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our lead mentor is online now, and he will have a couple of minutes with us. He is our president, Mr. Sikiru Salami. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Currently, I came with myself.
Hello, sir. Mr. Sikiru is breaking. The line is breaking, please. I hardly hear you.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that, sir. I think he's talking about the fact that he's at the hospital and his daughter
You're
is
most welcome
ill.
to, as you are aware, among many of us that we've done, how we can use it to elevate.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think he's having network problems. Please, let's bear with him.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Can you all hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yes, we
Yes,
can.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome. Thank you very much for being here.
So I'm Yusuf. All right, I think it's better now. Apologies for the network issues. So once again, I'm Yusuf Ibrahim, a web developer, and inshallah, I will be taking you for the period of Saturday and Sunday, inshallah. Through this period, we would be going through web design basics, and specifically, we'll be using the content management system, WordPress. Just confirming if you can all hear me clearly before I proceed. Confirming if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, yes. We can hear you.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
we
great.
can.
So,
Yes, I hear you.
okay, great. So, the entire course for the 3 weeks would cover several aspects. One of them is WordPress, Wix, another content management system. So it means we would have approximately 2 days for each of the CMS. So my style of teaching would be coming from the fundamentals, such that once you go through this, you should understand at the base, and you should be able to do something yourself, either as an aspiring web developer or web designer, or even an existing web developer or web designer, or someone who has his own business and would want to build their website for themselves. To begin with, I like to compare web development or web design to just like building a house. So when you're building a website, it's like building a house. So I'll just give me a little while. I'll share my screen so that you see a simple illustration of what I'm talking about. I think it's better you see what I'm saying. Okay, so okay, the host isn't allowing multiple presenters to share. Okay. I'll just go on for now until I'm given the permission to share.
Yes,
So
I'm allowed you now. I'm allowed you now. Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay, great. So mashallah. Share. So you could see, can you see my screen now? Yes, it's showing, right? It's like a PDF.
Yes, please. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So if you see, you can see this modest house somewhere here. So I will kind of explain how this house relates to any website you're building. So for you to build a house, you need a land, right? You need to have purchased your land, or maybe you have a joint venture with someone to build the house, right? Then definitely that land you purchased or where you're building on has a location. It is located somewhere, and then there are people who then build the site on that land. So similarly, what we do when building a website is we purchase a land from from something called hosting service or hosting servers. So what this means is out there online, there are people who have their own sophisticated computer systems that you are buying space with that, oh, I want my website to also show over the net, right? Over the internet, right? So I'm buying a land with you. I'm going to pay for this land for a period of 1 year or 2 years, right? So there are sample of this kind of hosting services like Q servers, you have Hostinga, you have HostGator, and the rest. We'll come to that next. The second part is if you buy a land, let's say you buy a land in Maitama, you should be able to find the address as maybe plot 104 Panama Street, Maitama, Abuja, something like that, right? So same thing here, when you buy a land, you're supposed to buy a domain name, which is the address, the location, so that when people are looking for your building here, in this case, your website, they would be able to search in and get to your website. So you buy a land, you also get the domain name. So the domain name is what you usually see on your URL, like www.facebook.com or let's say Instagram.com. Those are domain names, www.mmc.com. These are all domain names. Then lastly, an architect combined with a builder, combined with civil engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, all of them comes together, they come together and then they build the building, right? So same thing with website. Several experts come together to build the website or web portal. Before I proceed, I think, is this fundamental? Does it sink in? So you have three major things: a domain name, hosting service, and then the website itself. For the domain name, it is like the location so that people can find you. The hosting service is what keeps your website like your land. And then the website itself is like the building. I would want to confirm if we are following at this stage. Yeah. Then the next thing is, yeah, great, mashallah. So the next thing is for the website, just like you have an architect, just like you have an architect that builds that design what we are going to build, and then you have a structural engineer that makes sure that whatever he designs has the required strength and meets the standard, with the civil engineer putting it on the land, building it alongside the electrical and mechanical engineer. by default in web development, you have people who are the architects. We often call them the UI UX designers. So you might have had so many people like, oh, they say we are software engineers, we are web designers, but it seems they're all doing different things. If you notice, the reason is that not just one person actually make a web development team, but a lot of people. One person can learn everything and become full stack, but a lot of people come together and they provide one service or the other. So a simple a simple example is the UI UX designer, like the architects, comes up with the model of how the website will look like, the model of how the building will look like. Some would, like in terms of the architect, you might be able to see a 3D of the whole building even before it is really built, right? You have seen something like, or 2D of the building even before it is built. Same thing, the UI UX designer does this. So once he's done with that, you have the structural engineer coming to make sure that every part of that drawing that the architect has come to build is like reliable. It can actually stand. Then the civil engineer begins to work on the site alongside the builder. So here, the UI UX designer designs the website. The next person is the front-end developer, right? He comes to build what the UI UX designer has designed. So the architect has designed, then the civil engineer comes to put it on, the builder comes to put it to reality, the front-end engineer comes to put it to reality. But have you seen a carcass before? A building that's just a carcass without painting, without plumbing works, without electrical works? You have seen that definitely, right? So the same thing happens when the front-end developer comes to do his own part. You often need different kinds of tools. This is general. We'll go to specific eventually, but I'm just giving you the basics generally. So we often need different tools. You might have heard of HTML, which you do at the third week of this course, inshallah. You might have heard of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? So at that point, the front-end developer use these kinds of tools to make it set up, but sometimes it's just like a carcass. It is not functional. That's where so if you notice, because we are going to CMS, this thing looks complex and it's difficult. Imagine you own your own business and you are one person. I want to design your website for yourself. So when would you learn UI UX? When would you learn front-end engineering? When would you learn back-end engineering and all these things just to build a simple website? Or you are a freelancer, you don't have time to learn all these things, but you want to start making money by charging clients. That is part of the reason you have content management system. So it's like, we don't need everybody in this process that much, even though, yes, when you delve in deep down, you later need them. But for the basic, for a simple portfolio website or something, I don't really need all these people. I could just use an existing software someone else has built and then bypass most of these processes and get almost the same result you get as the complete team comes together to give. So that's where CMS like WordPress. So WordPress has been existing since 2000, 2003, 2001, 2003. I can't remember the exact time. But when it started, it is just like a blogging site where people can post content. But as time went on, a lot of people supported it. And now WordPress is as sophisticated as also custom programming. So in this course, I had to go through the introduction just run through it because the main goal is WordPress. But if I start teaching you WordPress and you don't know some basics, I think it wouldn't sink in so well. So WordPress came to solve the problem of business owners or freelancers who don't have the time to go through learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the rest. But they have maybe the zeal to build website or the creativity to come up with their own website for themselves. So that's where WordPress came. So lastly, let's just go over things again. I like fundamentals to sink in before we start going through so many things that you can get confused. First thing is we need a domain name for a website. That is, your address helps your visitors to get to your building, right? The domain helps your visitors to get to your site. The domain is being purchased. There are numerous domain providers. Most hosting providers also sell domains. So remember I talked about hosting, like the land, right? It's just like the physical land. The hosting server carries the website. It could be large enough to take numerous websites or just one site. It is provided by various hosting providers, e.g. HostGator, Bluehost, SiteGround, Web for Africa, QServers. We'll come to all those, inshallah. Then the website itself, which I have explained in detail. So next thing we'll do is installing WordPress. Among most of the CMS that are available, CMS meaning Content Management System. I'll just give you the layman understanding of it. It is just simply softwares that other developers have built for you to be able to manage your content, to be able to bring what your ideas to life without coding yourself. So it's more like a no code, usually more like a no code software. So for WordPress, most of the hosting service, remember land, just like, oh, if you buy this land, we have a group of architects and civil engineers already set for you to build the house. All you need to do is pay, right? So most of the hosting service, when you buy the land, the hosting from them, they come with a simple installer that you can use to install WordPress, and then it starts working. Now, we are done with the theory part. Let's move to practical. There are two ways you could work on WordPress. For the purpose of this course, I would be using online. I'll be working online. And then I would want you to be working offline so that you can, we don't have to waste much time buying hosting and domain, even if you have to do that, inshallah, at the end of this course. But initially, you'll be working on your system. What I mean here is, right now, you can search for, let's say, www.facebook.com online, and then it would come up with facebook.com. But if you're working offline, I can't search for your website yet. It is just within your computer system. Remember, I said this hosting service means people have computers out there and you're buying space within their computer. Is this clear? So for when you're working offline, you're using your own computer, not their computer, and your computer is not connected like a service provider on the internet. So only you can see it, or a few people. You understand? So here, for us to install WordPress online, right, we have hosting services like Hostinger. You have SiteGround. You can, during your free time, you could actually go through this. Upon. Let me cut this call. Thank you. Yeah. So we have Hostinger, you have SiteGround, you have Bluehost. All these are hosting service. Remember, I said those people that provide you the land, right? If you are to work on it offline, you have some tools you need to install on your computer. in the past, we used to use something called, okay, let me just go on. You used to use, I'll share some of these things so that you can just follow the process. While after I show it to you here, you can like go back to check it and follow the process yourself. It's important to practice. You might not be able to follow everything through during the main course, but after the course, it's important you can follow through yourself. So we in the past we use certain, let me share the entire of my screen. That would be better screen for this one. In the past, we use certain, can you see my screen? I believe it should have switched to the entire screen now. It's still, okay.
We can see your screen, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I just, yes, apologies. Let me just close certain personal tabs. Thank you. Thank you. So in the past, we use a tool like WAMP server. I'm showing you this not because we would use it, but so that in the future, when you see it, you're not surprised. We use something like WAMP server or XAMPP. What these do is those people who have the service online, they have their computer and everything. There are some software that they have installed there that allows custom codes to work on their system. That's where you have things like PHP and the rest. So XAMPP or WAMP is Windows Apache something, the rest, right? I don't want to go into technical terms, but it's more like, yes, your computer was not meant to open a website, but WAMP is the application you install on your computer that allows you to be able to work with most of these softwares that can help you run websites or portals customly or privately. But because we are going on just WordPress and the process of installing WAMP and XAMPP is longer, even though I would send you a guide to that, I would prefer we all use a separate tool, and it is dedicated for WordPress. The only downside of this tool is that if you are using a very old computer, maybe you're using something like Windows 7, Windows Vista, it might not work as best as you want it to work. But this tool is contemporary, and then it's for WordPress itself. Why I prefer teaching people with this tool is because it kind of mirrors what happens with hosting service providers. So here, I would want everyone, if you are following with your system and you're connected and you could do that now, you can search online and write the local WP and then press enter. It opens Google search. Okay. Let me open Google itself first. Google. Okay. Local WP. Download. So you see what I'm searching on Google, right? Local WP download. And then you can see it's the first one, localwp.com. So you open the website. It's together with it. So now once this site is open, now, so This is local WP. It's a straightforward tool. So here you just go download for free. You choose the platform. You may be using Apple. You may be using a Linux system, Mac, Apple, yeah. And you may be like me using Windows. So I'm using Windows and I'll choose Windows. You could input your name, last name, right? Organization type, you could choose agency, freelancer. The information they are getting will just help them understand how people use their website. So you could also choose your email here and then get it now. Once you click get it now, it should proceed to start downloading. And if it doesn't download immediately, you can click this button. Like in my own case, I can't see any prompt showing that it's downloading. So I'll click here, right? And then you can see on my screen that there's one download. Note, it is a large file, about 707 MB. So I would suggest that you download it when you have good network. Alternatively, where some people used to complain about so much data when they are working. Firstly, I would say if you want to really learn web development or web design, please invest in data. Secondly, it could be difficult. So let me be fair. Another way is to learn and work in the night. There are night subscription. You can just dedicate 1 hour every night, and then inshallah you would learn it bismillah. So I'm trying to give you that excuse. If you really want to learn, might not fly. You have to just try to invest in it, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for every one of us. I mean, so once that is downloaded, right, local, I stopped the download myself because I have it before. On your download folder, I have local installed before. Let me see if I can find the installer. Before I spend too much time on this, I want to confirm if you can hear me, number one, because sometimes during meetings you can talk and then you don't know people have stopped following. Secondly,
yes, I hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, then secondly, I believe the process of installing normal softwares, is this something we are almost all familiar with? I want to skip some process because we have shorter time. While I'm skipping it, I'm not entirely leaving it. I'll give you like a guide to go back in case you are missing it. You understand, right? If we follow all through the process, maybe installation might take around 20 minutes and then you don't get the key part of the whole stuff. You understand, right? So the next thing after downloading this is installing the software itself. Permits me to skip that process because I've installed it on my system. But that process, don't worry, when you are practicing yourself, right? I had already created the guide for you to follow. Is this a good way to go about the course? I would suggest that because we have so many things to cover in just 2 days, inshallah. Is this fine? Please just confirm. I like so that we flow together in our course, you understand? So now that is installed, once it is installed, next thing you need to do is to open the tool itself. The name of the tool is local. Once again, apologies, I skipped the installation process for 2 reasons. Number one, I have it installed on my system. Number two, it is a very direct process, and I'll be providing you with the guide I had already like pre-recorded ahead of this, you understand, so that you can follow at your own leisure time. So local is opening on my system. I've tried to open it now. This is clear, right? So we are going to use local to run WordPress on our computer system. Remember, I said we can run WordPress either on our computer system or online. So we are currently trying to run it on our computer system. Why do we do such kind of thing? There are certain times where we are still in the staging process of our website. What staging means is we are not ready to take it live for everyone to see. We are still building it, and then we don't want to always be going online to check www.domainname.com/my website. You understand, right? We want it to be within our system. Anytime I open my system, I continue from where I stop, even if I don't have data. Is this clear? So if that's why we are trying to do it locally. WordPress gives us the ability to later send the completed website from our own computer system to the hosting service when we're ready to launch it. You understand? So this, you can see the reason, despite my system being, I didn't switch it up on time. Local is still trying to launch. I have an old version. I've not updated it. So this kind of time they are precious. So I will continue. I can see some people have maybe questions or put it up on the chat. Rahman is on busy. Yeah. Okay. Great. Mashallah. I wanted to confirm if there are questions from there. So while local continues to open, those time, you see the time we are spending, they are precious. So I would want you to, okay, we are already in the process of installing WordPress on our own computer system. But imagine we wanted to install WordPress online for everybody to see initially. Remember, then I was just calling names. There is Bluehost, there is Hostinger, there is QServers. Let me give you an idea of it, right? So local has opened, but still, let me give you an idea quickly. We have QServers.net. QServers is a cheaper alternative owned by Nigerians, as much as I know. They are some popular brands in Nigeria actually use them. Fair enough, I've used them myself. They are not the very best hosting out there, but they are reliable enough to use. You understand? Because they have maybe some cheap plans for simple websites. Yeah, it's when you're building something complex that you know that, okay, you need something more. So you can see that QServers, they're telling you website hosting from as low as 20,000 and they'll give you .com.ng domain, right? For QServers, I have another guide. Please, if you are learning in short time, this is a crash course. It's important you put in extra work later. So because of that, I also created another guide for installing QServers. Actually, from beginning to the end, I bought hosting, I bought domain, and every single thing. So you can just follow through that process and install your own WordPress through that. This is QServers. The second one is Hostinger.com. This is currently my own favorite. It is it's a worldwide brand, yeah, and then it is relatively affordable with superb service. It's one of the websites if you are working for a client and the client has, if the client has up to, let's say, 50K at least to register for its domain and hosting, I would suggest you come to Hostinger.com. They have served me for over 4 or 5 years and I've got good service from them. So you can see their hosting plan, $2.99 per month, $3.99 7.99. There's one that is lesser than this 1.99 thereabout per month. You understand? So I told you are buying land. So this is where you are buying. So the process is quite easy and direct. Let's give a sample here. You have, and let me go for the premium plan. I'm not going to pay, don't worry. I'll just show you. I went to Ostinga and then you saw their plans, right? Okay, how do I remove this from the top of my screen? Okay. This is Ostinga. I prefer Ostinga. There's also Ostgator. There's Blue Ost. I used Ostgator myself for a long time before coming to Ostinga. So if you understand the way I'm saying, oh, I've used Q servers, I've used Ostinga, I've used Ostgator, why am I not sticking to one? There are many reasons. The first reason is because it depends on the client I'm working on, his budget. Number two, it depends on the site I'm working on. And number three, sometimes maybe I learned that a new hosting plan that, okay, one hosting plan I'm just finding out about is better than the previous. So I could migrate from the previous to the new one. So I personally started with Web for Africa. I moved to Q servers, I moved to Ostinga, and now I'm at Ostinga. I also have a plan with Namecheap. This is distracting me. Show graded. Okay, I thumbnail. Sorry. So this is you got the flow. I went for premium web hosting. There is basic web hosting, but premium is showing $2.99 per month. Why it is up to 143 is that they're telling us to buy for 48 months, 4 years. So if you're buying for 4 years, they subsidize it even more. You can choose to just buy 1 month hosting. Please don't ever do this one. Yeah, you're just wasting money. You spend $11.99 per month compared to $2.99 if you're buying for 4 years. But definitely $148 might be very high to get hosting. Note, whether you are custom coding, you are doing it on WordPress and the rest, if you want to take a serious project online, usually you have to buy these lands. Let me call it lands, you understand, usually. Then for 1 year, 12 months, how much is it? Which would be around 60 to 70,000 for the hosting. Now, if you are just starting and this is too much, there is basic hosting. I don't think you spend up to 50,000. If you are just starting and you can't afford that, there is Q servers, just 20,000. If Q servers is too much and you want to practice, there is truehost.com.ng. So I think I also created a guide for truehost.com.ng for you to get hosting plan. Truehost.com.ng, if I can remember, you can get everything for less than 10,000. Now, when you are serious about creating a major website, I would not advise you to come and buy hosting for less than 10,000 naira. Yes, anything your eyes. I wanted to use it in that tone so that you get me clearly. But for practice purpose, no problem. You can buy hosting for even 5,000, 2,000, but don't use it for, in short, there are free hosting services. You understand? But those things would not work for a real site the way you want it to work. I hope I just gave an idea. So it's more like, oh, there are different real estate companies selling land in Maitama. I can either go to Course Group, or I can go to Bilad, or I can go to Urban Shelter. Deal at the right time. So these are what hosting providers do. So it is, you finally choose that hosting plan you're looking for, and then you proceed through to the end. Now again, I would repeat, this live class is fundamental. The step-by-step process here, I would still give it, because sometimes we get carried away with step-by-step process, and then you begin to ask, why did he go here? Why did he go there? Because you didn't even understand the fundamental. I believe in teaching fundamentals, then people pick from there. So this is the hosting plan. By now, I've bought time. I believe local should have come up. Yeah, it's still loading. Apologies, the local I have on my system, because I've used it a long time, is somewhat outdated, but it will still work fine. I don't know why it is here. It's loading a bit slow here. This is part of the advantage of WAMP or XAMPP. Usually, I think it might be faster. Local is a bit heavier on systems. WAMP is a bit lighter on systems. Yeah. So while this is opening, I would like to take a small break and open the doors for question, because the next process is installation process and the rest. I'm through with most of the fundamentals. I believe while I was explaining the fundamental, there might have been some things that I have just overstated, right? And you might not understand. So please feel free to ask questions at this point, and I would give answers before we even continue, inshallah. So if you have a question, whether it is within what I've explained or a question on something within WordPress, definitely, or web development in general that you have been confused about, you could ask at this junction before I continue. Now, okay, any question at this point? I would appreciate that you are open to asking questions. It's very important, not when you are studying yourself later. It might be.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you for the presentation. Please, just a few questions. You mentioned some tools.
Yes.
I just want to differentiate them. The tools that you mentioned, are they all domain or they are hosting?
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that question. Going back to the basic again, there are three major parts of your website: the hosting, domain, and then the website itself, right? So hosting is the land, and then domain is the location. So when I talked about these websites, TrueHost, QServers, Hostinger, HostGator, this website provide both hosting and domain, meaning you can buy hosting from them and they'll give you a free domain, or you buy hosting and then you also buy the domain separately. You understand, right? Now, when I was talking about the tool within the computer, this local that is still loading, I think I'll close it and reload it. But at this point, you have not purchased the domain name. You are using your computer as the hosting service. There is a domain, but it's not like something people could search online yet. You understand? So you see this truehost.com.ng. It is what is called the domain name. You see this qservers.ng. It is what is called the domain name. You see this localwp.ng. It is what is called the domain name. So after you buy your land, your hosting, you want people to be able to search you online, right? And then you choose a domain name. Now, that brings me, your question brings me to something important I was almost skipping. So, for example, for this course, I'll be using a real live website for a client. The client name is Shepuntal Global Network, right? Limited. So I would call it shepuntals.com.ng. You can see my screens, right? So I'm buying it from TrueHost. No, let me go on with TrueHost. shepuntals.com.ng. You get, right? This is where I search for the domain name. Then I search. So there are situations where, while searching for a domain name, it will tell you the domain name has already been taken. Like, for example, you cannot say you want to buy facebook.com because it's already owned by the popular Facebook. The same thing, you cannot say you want to buy, let's say, mmc.com because it's already taken by another organization called MMC. You understand, right? So when you have to search for domain names that are available. This shepuntals.com.ng is currently available. So after searching, my goal is to buy the domain name from TrueHost, even if I would not host it with TrueHost. So remember I said you could buy the hosting and domain from a provider, and I could choose to buy the domain from one provider and then host it on another provider. You understand? That's where name pointing is. I'll come to that gradually. So now I've checked for shepuntals.com.ng, right? Then I'm going to add it to cart. It's just like the regular shopping experience. For every single hosting provider is their unique kind of purchase. You understand, right? So I add it to cart. If you are used to buying things online, the process of buying hosting and domain, the process of buying, not after buying, the process of buying would be seamless. So after added, you can see the continue button. Continue. So what am I buying here? I'm buying just the domain. If I wanted to buy the hosting, I would have not searched for a domain. I'll go straight to hosting. So let me hide this again. You can see domain configuration, shepuntals.com.ng. At this point, I could just click this. It's not compulsory. You see this ID protection, right? For some of us, we could check a domain name. For example, I could check who owns a particular domain name. So if you com.ng and you did not purchase ID protection, when someone goes to, there's a site called whois.org, right? And he searches for shepuntals.com.ng, it's going to show the person who purchased it all his details, his name, his phone number, and everything. Now, for some people, they have no problem with it, right? Like, for example, for some certain domain, personally, I leave it open if the client doesn't mind, and I put my professional details so that maybe someone is searching to even know who built the site. I'm just saying my own random thought. It can be wrong, but there are certain professional websites that they don't want the website to be associated with individuals or for people to find their phone number, their email online. So you're going to purchase ID protection. It sometimes comes with other hosting providers. Like if you are buying from Hostinga, it automatically hides your identity. You understand, right? So next is name servers. For now, I would skip it. Or let me quickly explain what name servers is. This is a bit tricky. Please listen to this attentively. So remember I told you I could buy from one hosting service. I buy the domain and hosting from one hosting service. Or I could buy the hosting, my land, from one hosting service because I prefer Hostinga to QServer. But Hostinga is international. They don't have .com.ng. So I'm coming to TrueHost to buy .com.ng. So if I buy shapehotels.com.ng from TrueHost, how would TrueHost know that I already have hosting service with Hostinga? That is where name servers come. So every single hosting service have their own name server. Now, let me pause here. There's so much information I've given in a short time. It's not compulsory to know everything I've said now. It's good you are hearing it so that the next time you see them, you're understanding. You can literally just jump to installing WordPress or tell someone that, I have people that they know how to build website too. But you see all these things they don't know. So every time they contact me, please help me buy my hosting and domain. I'll continue building the website from there. You understand, right? So it's not compulsory. You can, the website building process is much more easier and enjoyable. But if you want to be serious about the entire process, for example, if you are becoming a web developer, this process are inevitable. You have to know it. So that's why I'm just taking the time to try to explain. I don't want to skip it. So you see ns1.cloudoon.com is TrueHost name server. If I'm pointing this to, let's say, Hostinga hosting service, one more time, the hosting service is the land. So I'm buying a new domain name and I wanted to point to Hostinga. Remember Hostinga? I was buying a hosting service from here, right? This is where I need to do it, name servers. So I will search, what is Hostinga name server on Google? So I'll open Google in case you don't even know the name server, right? I'll open Google and I'll search Hostinga name server. Another thing that is your friend is ChatGPT. ChatGPT has saved so many lives recently online. So Hostinga name server, you can see that Google is not giving me the direct thing I'm looking for. I have to open several things. Okay, let's see whether it will show. Google did not give me exactly what I'm looking for. This is one problem sometimes I have with Google. Let's go to our friend ChatGPT. I'm doing this on purpose. What makes people better with their with working online, sometimes not just what you know, is the ability to solve problem. So the way you learn to solve problem is by seeing other people solve the problem. So imagine you were searching, you didn't see the hosting service here. You can actually go to this where to find Hostinga name server and you start reading everything, which is a preferred option. But there are some of us that it is stress to start looking at this, finding the name server and the rest. In as much as the hosting service you are looking at is a popular one, if you ask our PA, ChatGPT, it's going to give you. So I asked ChatGPT, what is the name server for Hostinga, right? Let's see what it gives. You see, it gave us direct answer. ns1.dns-packing.com and ns2.dns-packing.com. You understand? I did this on purpose so that if you have issues in your process, you can easily know how sometimes those people that are tech bros, sometimes they used to check online too. They used to ask ChatGPT. Some of them don't used to code themselves. They ask ChatGPT. So don't be intimidated. Yes. So that was the first name server. This is the second name server. This was done. Let me go back because we might have gotten overwhelmed. Remember, I came to TrueHost. I searched for shapepuntiles.com.ng. It came to this side. I could just proceed, but I remember that I don't want to buy hosting service from Shapepuntile. For when you're starting off, I would just suggest you buy from the same hosting service, your hosting and domain. But I don't want to buy Shapepuntile. Remember, I said I'll be using a real life example first. I don't want to buy shapepuntile.com. So the hosting from here, I have hosting with Hostinga. So what is the name server for Hostinga? I've copied them and I pasted them in name server 1, name server 2. Then I would proceed, continue. Okay. Yeah. So here we will check out the normal process, and it's telling you that this domain name you would pay annually. So if you are a web developer or a web designer and you are working with a client, please remember to tell them there is yearly maintenance fee. This website I'm bidding for you, you would buy hosting and domain on an annual basis. So if I registered it for you January 12, 2025, January 12, 2026, we'll renew it too, because sometimes these are things that cause problem between clients and their web developers, because the web developer did not explain enough. So the client is like, every time you are collecting my money, it's good to explain that you see this website, we are paying rent online. This rent, it is hosting and it is domain, you understand? So you should have these things at the back of your mind, even if it's your own website or for a client. So if I proceed to check out, it just completes and it takes me to their dashboard. I think this is clear. For TrueHost, I'm using to buy the domain, and I'm using Hostinga purposely to buy the hosting. So you can see that any of them can be used to buy hosting or domain. You understand, right? Once we are through buying the hosting and domain, we have pointed together. That's when we now install WordPress. So for your own practice, remember, for your practice, not everyone has the money to buy hosting and domain now. For your practice, we are going to be using local WP to run our website. So local WP has opened for me, you understand? If we want to create a new site, I already have like 2 sites I'm working on here. I will delete this because this, oh, no. I'll leave it. I remember I did something great there. This is how local WP looks like. Let me open it completely, all right? If it is a new local WP without any site, you see a plus sign at the middle and you just click. If you have opened a site before, you can open numerous sites. So it's acting like hosting itself, and I'm creating a new website. Let me not jump. Let me just go back gradually. Because the next step are crucial. I've explained a lot of things. I know when a lot of things are explained in a short time, it's overwhelming. So I like to go back to the fundamental. Remember, I talked about a website requires 3 things: domain, hosting, and the website itself, right? I told you you could either host your website online or offline. When you are hosting your website online, you could use hosting providers like QServers, Hostinga, Namecheap, TrueHost, Web for Africa, and so many other ones. I showed you just a simulation of how buying a domain in any of them, or like I used TrueHost.com.ng, feels like. I started the process of buying hosting from Hostinga. The reason is, I had intention of hosting online, so I'm buying all these things. You understand? So you choose the best. My advice, if you are looking for a budget-friendly one, use Q servers. If you are looking for something for WordPress, if you are looking for something that is kind of affordable but very durable, use Hostinger. Second, you can use Namecheap. If you are just starting out and you don't have the budget at all, use truehost.com.ng. There is a free, there's something that looks free there. You understand, right? So now I have come back. We went to localwp.com so that we can download what will allow us to run WordPress on our computer system. We downloaded it, we installed it, and now Oracle WP has opened. We want to install our website on this machine, this software. So it adds, you go to this plus button, you might find it at the bottom left or at the center of your screen. So bottom left, add local site. You could either create from a blueprint or create a new site. I would suggest you always create a new site. Continue. What's the name of your site? So I remember I said personally, I would be doing a real live website called Shepuntaus Global, right? Network Limited. This is their official site. So at this point, if you don't practice, trust me, after 2 weeks, you forget everything I've said, almost everything. If you practice with the help of Allah, you should remember at least 50 to 60% of what I've said. Maybe in the future, when you are seeing more things, you'll be, oh, this is what was mentioned in that time, this is what was mentioned in that time. So what you should do is take it upon yourself. At the end of this course, or I want to build so and so website, I would not restrict you. It could be that you have your own business and you need a portfolio website for that business, or you are part of a non-profit organization, right? And then you want to do it as like charity for that non-profit organization, or you're working in a company. The company does not have a website and you want to upsell. You want to tell your boss that you can build a website for them at an affordable price. This is key. When I started building websites, it was for this Shepuntaus Global Network Limited. This is like 7 or 8 or 9 years before now. I can't remember the exact time. But the website I built then was almost free. I remember I collected 15,000 naira for everything. That time, hosting and domain was cheap. That was when I started with Q servers. Yeah. As at that time, I was not looking at the money, I was looking at the experience. Yeah, I had already built a website for myself then, something like that. So you need to practice. So it asks you what your site name is. I want you to write it down because we have about 20-something people on this call. It's important that everyone writes the goal he wants to achieve. I want to build a site for so and so. I want to build a site for so and so. Trust me, with the help of Allah, you'll be able to be at the end of the course, inshallah. So Shepuntaus Global Network Limited, I have information about this company already, so I'll be building their website again. You don't need to click advanced option. You go to continue. Remember, this is when we are installing on your computer system. You have installed local WP. You went to localwp.com, you downloaded it, you installed the software, and now you are following this process. Remember, I told you I was using an old version. For that reason, I'm going to custom. But for you, maintain preferred. You go to custom. I'm going to custom just because I know WordPress has improved in their PHP version. But for you, just go on with preferred. You can just assume that this is not happening here. Go on with preferred, then continue. Afwan, can I just mute and inform my dad that I'm in a class. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah. Can you still hear me? Okay. Can I get the name of the website? Which of the websites? Can you respond? The name of the website that I purchased. Okay, let me write all the websites. localwp.com. This is for this software I'm advising you to start with. This is the one I suggested for hosting. I use it myself. This is the alternative I am suggesting for hosting, and also domain. They have cheap domains, like their name cheap. If you're looking for a cheap alternative for hosting, qservers.net. If you're looking for something even much more cheaper, and these days with good customer service, because they used to call me to inform me that my hosting, my domain is almost expiring, truehost.com.ng. So these are some of them that I advise. Other ones, other people advise. I've used them before, but I no longer go to them. Bluehost, HostGator. Yeah. So these are some of the websites I spoke about. Going back here, remember we set up the website, we put the name of the website, that's the name of the company or any what you're building. Then I chose preferred, that you should choose preferred. Then now we are here. What this means is, okay, this is another crucial part. I want you to listen attentively. When you see a website, you go to www. Let's say www. Let's say iatech.com, right? When you open that website, it's the front end, or what everyone can see is shown. Behind the scene, there is an admin panel that the people who own the website, or the designer or developer that built the website, can control things, right? Now, when you go to the back end of that site, that admin panel, not anyone should be able to access it. Assalamu alaikum. Afwan. Thank you for calling that. You have, please, sir, you are a bit fast. Could you go over the previous page? Please, I will do that, inshallah. Can we use that local WP offline, like XAMPP? Yes, in short, it's preferred. You understand? But if I go through the process of installing WordPress on that, a lot of people will run away. I have the guide for that. I will send it. If you already know how to use it, please use it. You understand? That's number one. Number two, this sometimes local was created specially for WordPress. So you might enjoy a more seamless experience with it compared to XAMPP, you understand, if it works on your computer system. So for Sister Nana, I would go back, inshallah, to the beginning so that we don't lose on anything. So remember, I started after opening local, we went to the plus sign, we created a new site, and then we input the name of the website, right? Then continue. Because I believe you will just be installing local WP, you can maintain preferred. Alternatively, for my own case, I'm using an old version. I chose PHP 8.1.9 and I'm choosing this. Then I choose this. Like I said, you don't need to come to custom in your own side because I believe you are just installing local WP. I am well aware of the current versions WordPress work on, and that's why I'm not using the old PHP version. So continue. WordPress username. So I was explaining something. For example, you have iatech.com. When you go to iatech.com, every visitor can see what's there. But there's someone behind the scene that is giving you the content you are seeing or designing what you are seeing. That's where the admin panel is, right? Within the admin panel, you have to use a username or email and password to log in. This is what this place is about. You understand, right? So you could have multiple users, but this is the primary admin user. So on WordPress, if I have iatech.com, the admin panel is iatech.com/WP admin. Sorry, I didn't open my notepad, so I'll just write /WP admin. You can see my screen, right? So for my own case, I'll just use admin and admin as my password. Admin is my username, admin is my password. And email, you can leave what they put here. But personally, I would just change it to my personal email. My phone. Okay, no need. Let me go back up. I can build at gmail.com. Yeah, you don't need to click advanced. Yeah, I know you might be looking, what is this? Please just leave those ones for now. Then now add site. Once you click add site, it begins to create that site automatically on your computer system. Depending on your computer system processing power, it might take longer or shorter duration to have this created. So while we wait for it to complete creation, if you want to ask question either via the chat or you want to take the mic and ask the question, please, I'm open. I would want to cut myself at every single point so that I can ask question. Because we are, once again, we are going through WordPress, which is a very sophisticated tool in 2 days. Sorry, I have to just make it a crash course. So if you have any question at this point, please ask. I believe you might have been confused. One part I'm thinking people might have been confused on might be when we were going through this hosting service and domain name. If you still have confusion around it, please ask. I would be glad to answer them while we wait for this to complete installation.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much. You made mention that hosting is the land and domain is the locator. Then you also made mention of hosting guard and some other things. Please, could you elaborate on that?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So first thing is, just like in real life situation for buildings, you might have several lands in Maitama, right? And then you have real estate companies. So the real estate company can choose to give the name of their land, their estate, any name. That's the domain name, right? The real estate company are these hosting services like QService, like Hostinga, like HostGator, like Bluehost. So you go to the real estate company, that is the hosting service, to buy your land, which is the hosting service, and your location, which is the domain name. You understand, right? The difference here is that you have the option of choosing the domain name you want. in as much as another person has not chosen the domain name in the past. You understand? So we are going to these hosting servers, which are like real estate companies having lands, to buy the hosting service, to buy the land from them. Alternatively, just like I said, we could start building the website on our computer system and later take it to the site. I would explain this. You know, these days, the Chinese, they have a technology where you have the entire house built before you then take it to a site and put it on the land. I don't know if you have seen that, but I've seen it before. You have an entire building and then you just transfer it from where you are to that place. You get, right? So here you are building the website on your computer system. When you are through with building it, you will now go and buy the land, the hosting service, and the domain name and transfer your site there. I hope this answers the question. Then we have, please, can we have access to the recorded version? Even I also would want to have access to the recorded version if possible. I would really appreciate. My chat got disconnected. No.
Please, my own question is, we are trying to install something on that local WP. So are we installing the WordPress thing, or can you help us clarify that?
Okay. Now, thank you very much once again. You see, local WP, they just came together and they're like, let people, yes, mashallah. So local WP came together and they're like, a lot of people want to practice. Okay, can you mute? Can you mute, please? Thank you. So local WP, they came together. Getting slightly distracted by the, okay, mute. Thank you. So local WP came together and they're like, a lot of people want to practice WordPress. A lot of people want to build their websites on their computer system before taking it online. They are in partnership with another hosting service called the Engine WP. Just leave that one, no worry. So what they did is, rather than following the regular WAMP XAMPP process, let us create a dedicated app. That this app is created for WordPress alone. So when you install this app and you open it, and you just follow the process, you click plus, you put the name of your website, put the admin name and everything. You start creating the website on your computer system already. You can see it's installing WordPress. You see this process I followed, right? It is similar process you do online. You purchase your hosting, you purchase your domain, and then you just click, you go to Softaculous for some of them. Don't worry, Softaculous is just a name, but it's the straightforward stuff. It's an icon, and then you click install WordPress, and then it starts installing till the end. You understand? So here, local WP is just an app on your computer system that allows you to install WordPress seamlessly on your computer. You understand, right? So in my own case, I'm installing locally Shopuntal Global Network Limited. You understand? And it has installed finished. You can see you can open the site or you can open the admin panel. Remember I was talking about admin panel and site. So this is the site, this is the admin panel. These are some other complex things which you can skip for now. There's something called SSL. I would come to that later, inshallah. But in summary, SSL, if you go to some website, you see, oh, I can show. Sorry, let me use this one. Why it seems things have changed a bit. Anyway, but usually if you go to some website, you can see this connection is secure, padlock. So SSL makes your website secure and it makes people confident in your website. There are certain websites that when you open, it will now tell you that the connection is not secure. You have to click advanced, then you now say proceed to site. Most time their SSL has issues. You understand, right? So this ChatGPT's SSL is valid. So even within your own computer system, you could add SSL to the site. SSL either comes with your hosting service or you purchase it. So once again, you downloaded LocalWP, which was created as an app to just run WordPress. If you follow the WAMP and the XAMPP aspect, WAMP and XAMPP was not created for WordPress alone. It was created for almost all kind of web development services, almost all kind, not all kind. You understand, right? So that runs on PHP. Yeah. If you use WAMP and XAMPP, there's a longer process. You have to go to wordpress.org, download it. I didn't want to go through that process, even if I will give you a guide to check through that process. You understand? That process is longer and sometimes can be frustrating for new users. So if we click open site, it opens our new website here. Well, let me check. Okay, great. MashaAllah. You can see our website has been created. It's just a simple WordPress website, blog, Shepuntal Global Limited, right? You can see not secured because I've not installed SSL, but we are working within our own computer. There's no need, but you can just click trust. So that I'll give you a simulation of how SSL works in even online. You understand? If trusted, right? If I reload this website now, you would see it would show secure. Okay. Still should not secured. Maybe it's loading from cache. Let me open using another browser. If it doesn't, we'll skip it, but SSL simply is giving us that secure padlock on our website. Still showing not secure. That means there's a problem with working on it offline, but that's not a major problem. You're working on your computer system. Nobody comes to your computer to come and start hacking necessarily. You understand? Even though there are some loopholes there. Next is, let me not skip that. I said, now this is our website. You can see it is blank as new. You understand? The only thing we can see here is Hello World, which is like, I told you WordPress was originally made for blogs, and then they still maintain that style, but they made it robust for any kind of website. You understand, right? So for us to start building the website, you go to WP admin. You either do it that way, or you just click here, your URL. How do you can share something? Sorry, if you know, I'm not used to this. Oh, it has been like obstructing my process. I never knew I could change the position. Yeah, so you could just come after the domain name and put /WP admin. Remember I showed you /WP admin, and then it goes to the back end of your website. So a sample is, let me go to, for example, unibuildro.com.ng. I believe their website is WordPress, and I put /WP admin. It goes to the back end of their website. Is this clear? You understand? So after any website, if you want to know whether a website, not all cases, but most time, if you want to know whether a website is WordPress or not, just put /WP admin behind. Definitely, I know BBC is not WordPress, but imagine it's WordPress. If you put /WP admin, it's going to come up with the WordPress page. You understand, right? So this showed that these people are using a WordPress website. Simple hack. Now, remember I put my username and my password as admin, right? Then I log in. If you are working on a real site, please don't try what I just did. In short, online, they will not allow you to put admin. It's because I'm working on my system and I wanted it to be straightforward. Don't try using admin. They can hack your site, they can do different things. They could actually take your site off you. There are many things, so be careful. Use sophisticated password. Use password that maybe, there's always this suggestion. You can use the password and store it somewhere. So congratulations, we have installed WordPress on our computer system. I guess this is clear, right? On our computer system. Tomorrow, we are supposed to start working on WordPress. I just wanted us to get to this point where we install WordPress with local WP. I really wish I could go through the one for WAMP and XAMPP, but it's going to take time. Apologies, I would rather give a guide for that. The second part, which is important, is it would be unfair for me not to show you the process of installing WordPress on one of the hosting service. So I'll just go to one of my hosting service, Hostinger. And I remember what was the password? Okay, I think it's saved. So we are saved. I guess you understand what I'm doing here. I have hosting service with Hostinger. I really wish I could just go through buying a new one, but it's going to cost some money. But it is pretty straightforward for process. My network. While it opens, you saw the process of installing WordPress on your computer system, which is advised for you. You understand, right? Do you have any question regarding that part of it? Do you still have questions regarding that part of it? To run down through it again? Yeah, okay, please, Sister Habiba. Please go on. Walaikum salam.
When you were trying to download Sharper the other time, I saw .com.ng. Let's say I want to create my own website. Do I need to know what that means? Is there a restriction on it? Let's say I use .com.ng rather than use .net. Is there anything I need to know about that?
Okay, I didn't hear the question clearly, so I'll just try to repeat or paraphrase what I had to confirm so I don't answer the wrong question. I think you were saying when I was trying to purchase the domain using qservers.net, you saw I imputed shepuntal.com.ng, right? Do you have to always put .com.ng, or you could put your preferred domain option like .com.dev, right? Is this the question you asked?
I mean, underneath there came some suggestions. We have .food, .shop,
Okay.
are those things we need to know, or we can just use any of these.
Okay. Okay, yes, I understand. So if they give you such suggestion, right? Most time you don't need to add the .net, .org.ng, every single other option they are giving you. Because if you add it, it's extra cost. Meaning you are not buying one domain, you are buying 2, 3, 4, 5 domain, depending on the number you added to it. But in some cases, yes, it makes sense. For example, you are building a website for a reputable organization. And you know that there are certain organizations that even if you don't know their domain name, you just want to, you're just thinking, I should be able to go to facebook.net and it will open Facebook still, right? Or maybe you are dealing with an organization that if people mistakenly get the wrong URL, they could be scammed. You understand, right? So you want to buy almost every URL related to your website. So to buttress on this, there are different what they call it. There are different domain types. You have .com, which is very popular. You have .net. You have .com.ng. Now, .com.ng shows that this domain is related to Nigeria. There's .com.au showing that it is related to Australia. There's .com.us. You understand, right? There's also .ng. There's the popular .gov.ng. .gov.ng shows that it's owned by the Nigerian government or certified by the Nigerian government. If you are buying .gov.ng, you need a certificate showing that the government approves of such organization. You understand, right? There's .org.ng. So it depends on the kind of website you're building, you choose the kind of domain. So if you have chosen, like in my own case, shepuntal.com.ng, the hosting provider would want to upsell. So they'll show that, oh, shepuntal.com is also available. Why don't you buy? shepuntal.net is available. If you don't need those domains, just proceed with the .com.ng. I hope that answers the question. And also, should we install local.bp and WordPress? Please, you should install it so that you can practice whatever is taught within this course, inshallah. I was trying to install. Is this my network or what? I'm trying to log into. I want to show you how to install WordPress on Hostinger. So this is my Hostinger account. You understand, right? This is Hostinger has a unique dashboard that is unique to only them. So you can see you have websites, you have domains, you have emails. Now the website is usually the list of websites you have under your hosting service already. You can say I have like 4 thereabout in this particular hosting plan. You understand? Domain shows those domain I purchased here. So I purchased these 2 domains on this Hostinger service. You understand, right? Yeah, that's it. So if I want to create a new website, you understand, for Hostinger, you can see this is the hosting service I have. It's a premium web hosting, and there are currently 4 websites. Hostinger allows me to create as much as 100 websites on their service, in as much as I do not exceed my other quota given. Like they give me, I think, 200 gig or 100 gig in total size. They gave me, there's something called nodes and the rest. Just leave that. So I could add a new website here. So if I go to manage hosting, right? This is yeah, this is the original website on this hosting. If I come here, you can see add website, right? So if I click add website, it opens a new window, and then it's saying, do I want to migrate an existing website here or create a new website? I want to create a new website. And then next, this is unique to Hostinger. Do you want to use Hostinger website builder or WordPress builder? We are working with WordPress. I've used Hostinger website builder before. It's also nice. It's more user-friendly, but not as sophisticated as WordPress. And then this one comes with AI. I would also teach you how to use AI to build on WordPress in a very short time. So WordPress, then next. Okay, personally, sometimes you could go for PHP, but let's use WordPress, fully customizable. Next. Yeah. So it's asking you what language would you want on your admin. Remember the admin. Let's go back here. This is the admin panel. What language would you want to use? Is it English US or English UK. I usually use US. And then this is my admin email. You could choose your password, like you could just let it suggest a complex password. Yeah, you can let it suggest another password. And then once you are done with this, always make sure you save this password for future reference. So you could open your notepad or anywhere. Just make sure it's safe. I personally use certain tools like LastPass and the rest, but for you, you could just open your notepad and this, yeah, and save it there, right? Then you go to next, and you could. I'm going to skip this. You understand? Hostinga gives you the option of you can just look among all these. You understand? These are pre-built websites. Which one looks more like what my business, like which template fits my business more? Or here, if I'm going to be selling baby stuff, I could choose this. If I'm going to sell skincare, I could choose this. If I'm going to create a blog, I could choose this, another blog. But personally, I wouldn't advise you do this for many reasons. So just skip. Go to create blank site. So if you remember, I was creating Hostinga, what is the name, Shapuntal. Unfortunately, I have not paid. If I had paid, by now, it will have like propagated the domain, like inform Hostinga that yes, shapuntal.com.ng has been created, and now you could install it on your hosting service. You understand? But I have not done that, and there is no there's no option for me to use as at now. You understand, right? So I'll just use a temporary domain. You understand? I didn't buy any new domain, so I can't add a new domain here. You understand? Except I want to buy a new domain from them. So I'll use a temporary domain. Hostinga gives the option of creating a temporary domain. It's going to be a long domain, but at least you could use it to practice. You understand? So it's installing WordPress. Remember when we're installing things here, I told you that, yeah, I like to use this to teach because if you have gone through installation here, you would kind of understand the process of installing on hosting services, because I will teach you Hostinga. It will be different from the way GoDaddy works. It will be different from the way Namecheap works. All of them have different styles, even though there's one that's almost like unique it's common among all of them. The best way to go about it is if you like a particular hosting service, you could go on YouTube and ask, how do I install WordPress on that hosting service? And then you're going to see a ton of videos guiding you step by step. This is another way. Every web developer does something like that. It's not everything you know at the back of your head. So let's just do a real test. I like to show as best as I can. So if we, I'll choose Q servers. I have a guide on Q servers on YouTube. But let's see how to install WordPress on Namecheap, right? You can see you have install WordPress on Namecheap hosting, install WordPress on Namecheap hosting. So like if I want Bluehost on Bluehost, how to install WordPress on Bluehost, how to install WordPress on Bluehost. If I want Q servers, yeah, you have this guy explaining Q servers. This is the one I did personally. I would send it to you, how to install WordPress site online Q servers part 1, part 2. So I would send it to you, inshallah. So Yeah, WordPress has been installed online also on Hostinger. It gave us a temporary domain, light pink iPhone and Theater. So this one I could actually continue using it till my hosting expires, but definitely you cannot tell people to come and visit you on light pink iPhone and Theater iPhone 20. You just need a name, you need a domain name. So it's similar to buying a plot of land, and on the papers on Aegis, maybe there's their coordinates 1 + 2 ABC blah 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 blah. So if you want someone to visit you, you're not telling them that come to 1 + 2 ABC. So do you expect persons to start going to search Google coordinate? You just tell the person come to house number 3, this estate, that estate. So that's why you need a domain name. So we are done installing WordPress using local WP, and we were able to get it down to this point. Also, we are done installing WordPress using Hostinger. Aside Hostinger, like I you would see, this is similar to what we have on our local WP. Yeah, similar to what we have here. If I remove the WP admin in front of it. So for the sake of keeping it as simple as possible, even though I know we have taken a lot of things in a very short time, right? I would leave it at this today, and tomorrow, inshallah, I would continue with the process of now using WordPress. So a lot of people just jump to using WordPress in the first day of teaching, but the problem is like I'm giving you all the weapons, but I didn't give you the engine to start. You understand? So I try to explain the fundamentals before moving on as best as I can. So alhamdulillah, may Allah make the knowledge we have and we learn beneficial for us, and continue to guide us. I will stop at this junction, and I'll be expecting questions from you. And inshallah, tomorrow we would continue. Do we have to pay to download any of this site? Okay, please, can you expand on this question? Are you talking about when you build it on local? Can you expand on this question? Let me not assume for you.
Okay, yeah, so I tried downloading WordPress now, and okay, I went to WP. I'm trying to open. I went to local WP, yes. So after clicking, trying to follow what it was prompting me, the next thing it showed WordPress hosted by WP Engine. And what I have here is, when I clicked on learn more, the next button I saw that I was supposed to click on, it gave me that I wanted to learn from.
Okay, I think your network has issue. Can you confirm on the chat if you can hear me? I think I got your question slightly.
Either I have to pay.
Okay, thank you very much, sis. Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you can respond on the chat if you can hear me? The network has issues from your side, but I think I get your question. So if you can hear, I want you to follow through when I'm answering the question. Okay, great. I'll do that. Okay, so let me answer her question, even though I know it seems she had network issue and she's out of it. So her question is simple, that when she came to local WP, maybe she clicked download for free, or maybe I don't know if she mistakenly clicked get hosting, and then it came up with some.
My internet got disconnected, so I didn't get you, sir.
Okay, so thank you. I was trying to wait slightly. I think you are asking that when you clicked download, right? Or you clicked something on the site and you try to follow through the process, right? They try to sell to you that you should buy their hosting, right? Now, you mustn't buy their hosting. If you check the top of this place, you can see the WP Engine, you can see Flywheel, you can see local, you can see ACF, Advanced Custom Field, you have StudioPress and Delicious Brains. Okay. Now, a moment, please. All right. One more thing is, can you share your screen, sister, so that I will just guide you through the process?
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you. Just a moment. Okay. Let me try to open this so that I know when your screen is sharing. Do I need to stop sharing for her to be able to share a screen? I don't know about that.
I think so.
Okay, thank you. Let me stop sharing.
Please let me know when I can start sharing. Thank you.
Okay, Afwan, you can proceed to sharing. I've stopped sharing from my side.
The response is sharing is not turned on. You can request sharing for this meeting.
Let me see if I could give you permission to share. I don't know if I'm a co-host, but
co-host.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so please indicate who wants to share so I can grant co-host permission.
Okay, my name is Dorinsola.
Yeah, try to share now. I think it just sent to me.
Okay.
And I clicked allow.
Okay, great. Then I think I need to remove Spotlight from you, and the person who wants to share. Hello.
Hello, I'm with you.
Yeah. Oh, you're the one who wants
Yes,
to share,
please.
right? Dorinsola, right?
Yeah, Dorinsola, yes.
Yes, so you can share now. I've made you co-host.
Okay, thank you. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen. I can see WP Engine. can you just go over how you got to this point?
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
on the tab, I typed local WP.
Mhm.
And when I clicked on enter, it brought me to this page, WordPress hosted by WP Engine.
Yes.
So I tried scrolling down. Sorry. I tried
Yeah,
scrolling down. I saw plans and pricing. Request a demo.
Yes. Okay. Now, if you check your tab, right, you see the first one, the Google link to join class group. Then you have the second one, local WordPress development, right? Can you see it? Top your tab.
Okay. Sorry.
Just
Next.
above the URL. Top left. Yeah, local. Yes, where your like how do I explain? You know where you can see where you put local WP originally,
I've
right?
seen it. I just get my screen now, so I've seen it.
Thank you.
WP Engine, Flywheel,
Yes.
look. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Above that, you would see wpengine.com/WordPress hosting, right? Question mark. Above that, you can see the first tab as Google, the second tab as local WP, and the third tab as best WordPress hosting, right?
Yes, I can see it.
So go to the second tab, local WordPress development. Thank you. So this is the original place it opened, right? When you search for localwp.com.
Yes.
So scroll down a bit. So yeah, good. The reason why you were taken to that place is you mistakenly clicked get hosting instead of download for free.
Okay.
Yeah. So therefore, now click download for free, please.
Thank you. Okay. Down.
Then
okay,
now
I can see.
choose your if you're using I think you're using Windows like me, so you choose platform as Windows.
Okay. Okay.
Then
name.
your name, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, then and let's just what's the name? At the end of the day, you could put a random name. It mustn't be correct, but preferably. Then scroll down using that the sidebar, right? What you used to scroll down.
Okay. Let's choose your organization.
Yeah. So you could choose independent freelancer / consultant. And then you could put your email or a random email. Then once you're done, yeah, you put
get it now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. So in case it does not download immediately, you click the get it now. You'll see like it tells you where to press in case it doesn't start downloading on its own. You understand? You would see it clearly there. All right. Let me confirm. Yeah, you're welcome. Alhamdulillah. If there's another question, yeah.
Sorry.
Can I make okay?
Yes, please. You can.
Share it now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Yes, please. I have a question.
Okay, please go on.
About the local hub, local WP.
Yes.
Is it mainly used to design WordPress or what?
Yes, local WP was created for the purpose of designing WordPress on your computer system.
So we just use the app to design our website, then it appears online as we are designing like that on the app.
Okay. Now, so you use the app to design your WordPress within your computer system. It does not yet appear online. When you are through designing it, you would have to go and buy hosting plan and domain, and then you transfer from your computer to online so that people can now search it. You understand, right? So, inshallah. Oh, okay. Inshallah, tomorrow I'll try to go through that process because it's crucial.
Okay, one more thing. The hosting, the one we did last now.
Yes.
Is it free or I don't understand the last part. Is it that we use it for free or okay?
Okay. So for the
that's where we buy our domain and
yes, so for the hosting, right? It is not free. Hosting and domain generally is not free. You understand, right? You have to buy it from hosting provider. So I gave the analogy of a land. So you are buying it from a realtor, right? So you are buying it from Urban Shelter, Cost Group, any of them, and they give you the land. So here you are buying it from Q Servers, Hostinga. You are buying your hosting and domain. It's not free. You can buy it from as low as 10,000 naira and as high as 500,000 naira or no more, depending on what you are buying and the kind of site you are building.
I'm hungry. Also, in the last 31 hours.
No.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Mr. Ibrahim.
No.
So I don't know if I can share my screen. I've downloaded the local WP app, but then
Yes.
I tried doing everything the way you did it. So maybe I'm meant to put my own email in that particular place because I went through and
You can share your screen now.
You can share your screen.
All right, let me. Thank you. I tried doing it. All right, so you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, so
okay,
let me do a new one. Let me do a new one.
Okay.
So just something. Then after I did this, I press on continue. Self-use preferred.
Yeah,
So
this is good.
Place, you have to create my own account in this place. Or
yeah, so you put in your preferred username and password. Then you can leave the email here, or you put your own personal email.
Okay. Okay. Let me try to put. Apologies. Now, so I can put my personal email here.
Yes, you can put your personal email.
Okay. Okay, let me do that. Okay, one more. Now, when I press this, but then they have some things on my laptop. I'm seeing some pop-ups. Okay.
Okay, so it's going to like, oh, thank you for even, while it's installing, right, it could pop up to ask you for permission sometimes. Yeah, so those permission, please grant it. If you don't grant it, it will not install properly.
But then, because this place, this the first one I did too, so it was just showing starting up site service and kept on doing like this.
Yes, remember even when I was explaining, it took time on my system too.
Okay.
You understand, right? So it takes time. Yeah, and my system is supposed to be faster, but it still took time in there.
All right. But then this was the initial one I created.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. But usually when you are setting up one, you shouldn't leave it. Yeah, but it's fine.
This is the other one I was showing. It's showing this error.
Yeah, click fix it. Let me see.
When I clicked on fix it, now brought some pop-up. like my laptop permission and all. So I don't know if that was where the error.
Yeah, yeah. Go on, click fix it, and then give the permission. You can say missing host entry. This site may be inaccessible. Something that has to do with the local host.
Name two of them at the same time. Maybe that's why it got it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
A quick hack. Sometimes this one is just there, even though most of this, I've forgotten the name of that stuff, but most of this app comes with them. But there's something called DirectX.
Oh yeah, yes.
Or yeah, so those things helps like install things that might be missing when you're using certain websites, so certain apps. You understand, right? DirectX or yeah, WAMP also comes with it. But generally, this should work without any issue. I don't really install those things myself before.
Okay, sir. Then my second question is, the email you put there does not matter. Because initially, this one I used the normal email I met it. I met an email that I just did like that. I don't change anything.
Yeah, generally it doesn't matter. Yeah, generally it doesn't matter. At this production stage, right? At this staging site, sometimes I also leave the email there. You see the email there, there is a way that Local allows you to see a simulation of the email service. So when WordPress is sending you, like you want to reset your password and the rest, right? It sends to that email. Usually, sometimes it does not communicate with your real Gmail address. You understand? So leaving the email there can also be helpful. You understand? Maybe when you forgot your password and the rest, but that's a bit technical. When you are moving to your main hosting service, right? You have to change it to your real mail. You understand? So pass time with my real name from the beginning.
Right, sir. Right.
Yeah.
So after we open this and we have this, what's the next thing? So I will be able to create our own WordPress account or something.
Yeah, so you see, when this is done installing, right, it shows that WordPress has been installed on your system. Number one, Arasu Institute has been installed on this local. So you can see WP admin, you can see open site. So click first, start site, the top right. Oh, thank you. I missed that. You have to always start the site or stop the site when you want to close. If you open it, start the site. If you want to close, stop the site. You understand? So let's allow the site to get started first. Yeah, so now open site. Click open site.
Open site.
See it by just below this stop site icon. You see the buttons, open site and WP admin.
Okay.
Yeah. Apologies, just in case my system has been low for a while, I might go off like abruptly.
Right.
Yeah, but click open site.
Okay, it opened my Chrome browser.
Your browser, right? I think you're just sharing this screen,
Yes,
this part,
yes.
that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so
but then unfortunately it came there, but it didn't show anything.
is it still loading?
I want to show entire screen.
Okay.
So after I press open site, look like this.
Okay, this site cannot be reached. So
yes.
I would suggest you click that fix it.
Yes,
You understand, right?
And
once it's fully fixed, you then open it, because it's saying missing host. This site may be inaccessible. It seems the local host in your on your computer is.
There's some security. It has been showing me the security thing.
Yeah. So this one would be something maybe. If you was them, I would share my contact. If you are unable to fix it, maybe you could contact it and then we just debug it, inshallah.
Yeah, so but once we have the site, that means the website is already running.
Yes, this website is already loaded, but why it's not opening is that there's something called localhost. It has to like function properly on your computer to be able to load any website or app within the computer. So one way to solve this also is just not because you are going to use it. I'm giving it as a hack for everyone. Is just download XAMPP and install XAMPP. So XAMPP already installs so many things you need for your computer to be ready. You understand? And then it's sometimes just fixed local. I've also faced these issues when using certain system.
So I can install them.
Yes, just install XAMPP. ZAMPP. Download, yeah. Thank you for going through this step. Yeah. Now, this is not compulsory for everyone, but sometimes you might just face these issues. So yeah, the 8.2.12, the one down here. So I believe it will start installing. XAMPP is a bit much more straightforward in installing than WAMP sometimes. Yeah. First thing is to, yeah. No, it's correct. It's correct. It just redirected you there. Naturally. Once again, just in case my system goes off abruptly, it's because of my battery is already very low. We could end the class here. I think officially I'm kind of through with the class. Inshallah, let me quickly send something. I remember the last question, which is important. I'll send it on the chat. First thing is the tasks, right? First one is download and install local WP. Number 2, come up individually with the kind of websites you want to build. Number 3, install WordPress on your computer using local WP. Yeah. Using local WP. Yeah. And then the last one is I would share a guide for you to review on how the WordPress dashboard is arranged. It's set up. So to make it easier, this is number 1. Inshallah, this I didn't add, inshallah. Inshallah.
All right. Jazakallah Karen for that awesome class, that long, exhaustive, awesome class. It is beautiful that people are getting carried along. Please ensure to actually take note of all of these assignments. Ensure to take note of all of these things that have been said in class. It's very, very important that you do them. Otherwise, some of you will be kicked out of the classes, regardless of whether you paid or not. This is to ensure discipline, actually. So please do this, and please tag us. We'll definitely follow up with that on the class group, but please ensure that you take note of all of these things that have been said, especially your assignments, because this are evidence that you have gone through this training and that you understand what you're actually doing. Because the goal for us is that at the end of this class or at the end of this training, you should be able to make a living with building websites, like building websites, designing websites, basically. So, Jazakumullah khairan to the facilitator. Thank you very much for making it very simple and seamless. May Allah continue to enrich you and guide you and guard you. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.